I'd like to welcome you all for joining us here to hear about Havoc Shield and the great new program that they're offering to chamber members. And remember, this is chambers on both sides of the border. My name is Corey Schuler. I'm the Executive Director of the Niagara, USA Chamber of Commerce. And we also have my counterpart here today joining us, Dolores Fabiano, who's the Executive Director of the South Canada Chambers. Dolores, welcome. If you'd like to say a few words.
Oh, just happy to be here. It's great to see you all. And I'm really excited about this value add program that we're offering our members on both sides of the border.
Thank you. This really is a great program. And we have Charlie Riley here today. Charlie Riley is the VP of Growth for Havoc Shield. He's got years of experience in software development, marketing, communications, advertising, public relations. So very well-rounded and very schooled in this new program. Right now, I'm going to throw it right over to Charlie, and Charlie's going to take us into the world of Havoc Shield.
Thanks, Corey and Dolores. We appreciate it. We're really looking forward to working with the members on both sides of the border. I'm actually in Amherst. Our company is worldwide, and we have employees all over the country. But I'm right down the street in Amherst from most of you. So there's a local flavor to this, and we're really excited to work with all the different members of both sides. So I'll jump right in and open this up for questions. We've got a pretty intimate group here, so if you have any questions as I'm talking through, please. I think there's a way to raise your hand here, or just take yourself off mute, ask a question. We'll talk through it as best we can, and we'll have some follow-ups. But it's a pretty short presentation, really, to walk you through, and that's on purpose. What Havoc Shield is a cybersecurity platform that is built for small business. There are plenty of resources out there that are built for enterprise level companies and really large companies, but there's been a gap there for smaller organizations. And we like to say anyone under 200, 250 employees, a lot of times they're left out of the picture. And so we built this on purpose. Our founder, Brian Fritton, built this as he was a member. He was the person in the hot seat working for a number of organizations, both in financial services, around elections, with a lot of really important data that they had to protect, and a number of other organizations where he was tasked with, how do I protect the company's interests, the company's information, and had to really kind of combine all these things together to put a program in place. And so he built Havoc Shield, and we're excited to share this with you today. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to, where is it? Okay. All right, there we go. So I'll jump right in, and then we'll get into a live demo. And like I said, if there's any questions, happy to jump into this. So when Brian founded Havoc Shield before, like I said, this was for companies anywhere from 10 to 200 employees. And really for teams that have no security team to speak of, it's a huge added responsibility for those that have the responsibility or that are given the role of what we call being a security steward. Over half of the reported attacks, cyber attacks in 2021, came from small businesses. So it's proof that if you're reading anything in the news, you're seeing about ransomware attacks, you're seeing about companies being held hostage for Bitcoin, or someone just clicks on the wrong email and that just starts a chain reaction. So it's not a matter of when an attack will happen, it's a matter of if. And you may already have some tools in place. You might already have a password manager. You might already have cybersecurity insurance, which is a great thing to have. But we've built the proactive set of tools to help you guys with that. So leadership at every size company is waking up to the fact that the majority of these kind of attacks are happening. It's keeping people up at night, and it needs to be solved. And so we think we've kind of built a resource for that. So it's actions being now forced more than ever for companies to take a security posture when it comes to cybersecurity. Let me, sorry, while I figure out how do I get to my next slide? Where is it? There we go. Okay. So we like to sum up what Havoc Shield is very similar to what TurboTax did for complicated tax preparation. Our SaaS software takes the ocean of cybersecurity complexity and bakes it into a step-by-step plan that your existing team can execute today. That is either your IT team, if you outsource to an MSP, which we work very easily with, or just, we like to say, an intern can do it. It's really anyone in the organization can really take advantage of it. but we help you create a living action plan to build and manage your cybersecurity program, curated to your industry and your threat model. It includes all the tools and guidance and evidence necessary to do that under one pane of glass, instead of having to manage multiple tools across different point solutions and have to pay for those as well. We've simplified everything into one platform for one price and brought best in breed resources into that platform. And we do all this through guidance tools and purposeful design to help like I said, even an intern take care of this. So the starting point, and I'm going to show you a live demo of the actual tool, but what happens, I'm going to skip through that on the live demo, but what we start with is a 3-minute assessment. Much like TurboTax asks you if you're married or if you've moved recently, we've designed a series of questions that allow the platform to automatically build a professional curated plan for you. So we ask things like, are you on Microsoft 360? Do you use G Suite for business plan for email? Are you on Mac, Windows? And then we curate that plan and it aligns to the compliance frameworks like NIST and CIS, so that we know that this is built, this has been built by cybersecurity experts, and it aligns to their rigorous expectations. Inside each plan, you'll find the modules that not only tell you what you need to do, but actually help you do those things right away. There are a lot of tools out there that'll tell you, you've got a vulnerability here, good luck, go figure it out. Our product actually helps you walk through the steps to get those completed. So we turn action like automating off-site backups, ensuring that your team configures multi-factor authentication, or running monthly vulnerability scans. It's all here in one place. And this is similar to how TurboTax does it. Like we said, make sure you file your state returns and they actually do it for you. We go past just the project management side of it or the guidance phase and actually implement the assets and controls for you. About 85% of our customers have none of these resources when we start, and we're able to demonstrate value right away by getting up and running within less than a week for the most part. So I'm going to switch screens here and show you, let's get into the plan. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. So this is our platform after that assessment tool, which is why you can see a percentage here that we've already kind of executed some of that. But we've purposely built this with no jargon and to walk you through as simple steps as possible to get you set up and get out of the platform, and we do the rest. So as you can see here, it's going to make some recommendations based on what's suggested next. And you can see some of the other tools that we have in place, but we prioritize based on that assessment what you need to start with. So things like setting up vulnerability scans for your websites. So I'm going to jump into the task. Very simple, no jargony context here. You know exactly what button to push next. We're going to walk you through. So this is where, again, like I want to look at our website and make sure that our website is secure. So I'm going to do, okay. So we're going to ask you some questions. When do you want to start this? Do you want to do it right now? Do you want to do it in the middle of the night? Would you like to set this up frequently? So would you like to do this monthly, quarterly, or whatever sequence or cadence you'd like? We just ask that you check permission, that you have permission to run a scan on your website. And then we're doing the work in the background. So as we're doing this, we're spinning up the program. As you can see, it's pretty quick. And it lets you know, again, next steps. This is completed. Now that, and this is going to run monthly. So you're going to be able to check your website for vulnerabilities, for gaps in coverage. And then if there are any of those, you're going to be sent an email that breaks down what those gaps may be. And we will walk you through in the other tools how to fix those gaps. So as you can see, we've made some progress. We're very deliberate in telling you exactly what's been done and what needs to be done next. And then it's on to the next set of tools. So our platform, in addition to the vulnerability scans, includes a suite of tools such as a password manager. So a global password manager. We've partnered with Keeper, which is a best in breed tool that we've integrated and baked directly into our platform. So again, you don't have to pay Keeper. You don't have to set up with Keeper. We do that with you inside of our platform here. And not only do we offer global password for on the business side, but each account we've negotiated for each person to get a personal account with that as well. So you can use this at home. So from a vulnerability standpoint, even the passwords that you share at home, everyone that has access to our tool will get access to a keeper account there as well. Other things as well, or other platform tools as well, things like Mail Armor. So a lot of times you might get a sketchy looking email, and hackers are really good at masking what looks like a legitimate email. If this is something that one of your employees gets, you're a little unsure about it, you forward it to us. We take a look at it inside of a sandbox. We open up attachments that might look sketchy. We make sure that the links are legit, and then we send you back to say, okay, this is okay to open, or no, this was spam, and here's some things to look for. So we're always the platform is always looking to find ways to educate. Some of the other resources that are really useful when it comes to a cybersecurity program are policies. Now you're getting asked to do to have policies in place when you're applying for cybersecurity insurance. It's just a best practice in terms of having things like backup and retention plan policies, business continuity plans. So as you can see here, we already have a few of these plans in place. We've worked with lawyers to create about a dozen or so plan templates that you can use right off the bat. Or if you have your own, you can upload those and store them in one location. So I'm going to show you here, if say we wanted to create a new business continuity plan. If we already have one, great. We can upload it here ourselves. If we don't, we're going to ask a couple questions here. Quickly going to generate a policy. And you can see here, again, this is written by lawyers. We've got a continuity or a business continuity plan that we've developed based on our the company that we have. And what this is going to do is this is going to email us a Word document. And in addition to that, we have the ability to send that out to all of your employees to make sure that they sign off the attestation to say, yes, I read this. I sign off that I've gotten this. So when it comes to the attestation, the third party, and I'll show you here what that looks like on our reports. You can start to, if you're asked these questions, if you're in a regulated industry, if you're going for insurance, you can generate attestation letters. And so you have a third party organization like us to say, yes, this company has done the work. So just to go back into our tool set again quickly, there are other resources like I talked about: password manager, policy manager, vulnerability scanning. So that's going to be done on a monthly basis now that I set that up. And you can see, again, very simple, no jargon, very easy to read explanations about how many steps you have remaining, what you have left to do. Password or patching example here. So if you have employees that are working remotely, or if they're in a hybrid model now, one of the most important things you want to do is make sure that they have those the patches that come suggest, hey, you need to update your software. A lot of your employees and even people at home, they don't do it. They don't pay attention to it. We can set up automation for that to happen so that the vulnerabilities are not there for either Mac, or PC. So we can set those sort of tools up as well, which is a great resource for anyone that's working remote. We also have cybersecurity training. So we'll walk you through a whole set of, here we go. So based on what trainings you'd like, we tell you, and then you can see they're quick, 20 minutes, 7 minutes, but we can help deliver training to your employees so that you're not only putting the tools in place, but you're building a stronger cybersecurity posture so that everyone is aware, looking at when you're traveling, best practices to do to protect your company data, how to make sure that on social media, different best practices there when it comes to cybersecurity, and even things and how they try to get information out of you. And where you'll see this is when I go to our dashboard. As an admin, you're going to see you can see some of the reports. So you can see who's signed off on some of that attestation. You can see who's done some of the training that you deliver out to them. But this is a screenshot of what an individual's dashboard would look like. So if I was, Joe Smith, an employee, this is what my dashboard would look like. This would be where I have certain tasks assigned to myself. So if I have training set up, here's some of the trainings. I haven't done any of that yet. If I have to do some onboarding, that can be done here from a cybersecurity standpoint. So every employee has a dashboard that they would only access the important information that's delivered to them. But Again, very clean, very simple, but it's very specific to that individual. And if you are the admin, that's where you can start to see some of those reports. So looking at who has completed the training, what emails have been sent to us, and you can see that there's nothing in here now because it's the demo account. But that's where, as the admin, you can see that, and you can work with, say, an MSP or your IT team to manage this as well. So I'm going to skip over to this next step here. So some of these things that not only are asked for when you're applying for cybersecurity insurance, but also to set up best practices, things like setting up MFA, multi-factor authentication. It can be a pain sometimes, people think, but having a second set, either if that's delivered via text or if that's delivered via an app to help during logins, that's one of the first ways that hackers get into systems. But it's not intuitive on how to set that up. And so what we've built is a Google Chrome extension to walk you through that step by step. And so I've just pulled this up here. We would set that up with you within our platform, but this is what it looks like. So as you log into this, you have the extension here. We walk you through step by step. And this is an example of someone using Google's business account. So we walk you through all the steps on how to turn on two-step verification. Very simple, guided instructions, show you exactly where to go. So it's there's no mistakes, no issues with that, because things like Google are not set up when you're right out of the box. They don't have these things set up, and so there are vulnerabilities right off the bat. And so we walk you through some of those steps with this. So I'm going to jump back into out of the platform and just kind of talk through some of the tools. So what we've done is we've negotiated with these groups, as you can see here, WebRoot for antivirus, Keeper for password manager. We've built some of our own tools as well, and we've baked those into about a dozen resources all on one platform. You have one dashboard, as I showed you, so you only have one place to log into. You get one invoice, so you don't have to worry about paying out different point solutions here and there. And it's all rolled out for you. So a lot of that work is done in the background from an automated standpoint to help you not have to spend time in here every day and manage it. But a lot of that's being done in the background to keep your posture safe. And lastly, we make sure you have proof to these efforts. You might have customers that are asking these questions. You might have regulators that are asking, your board or partners. Those attestation letters that I showed you and the compliance reporting, those are self-generated. So the nice part about that is it's quick to get some of the attestation you need for applying for insurance, or if your board's asking, hey, what are we doing about cybersecurity? You have the third-party verification to say we're taking the right steps to handle that. And there are our marketing automate. Oops, let me go back. Sorry. So some of this too, from a marketing standpoint, there are assets like a verified badge that help to that you can throw on your website to say we take cybersecurity seriously. We take our data seriously. And so for the security conscious customers, this is great. And we've actually seen a lift on conversion for companies that put some of our badges on their website. These assets have already been proven critical in helping some of our other customers win some big deals. So if you do sell into big companies or enterprises, they're going to ask what you're doing for your cybersecurity posture. They're going to ask what sort of platforms and things you have in place. These are some of the examples of customers we've helped some of our customers win business with through some of those attestations with Microsoft, with WeWork, with Optum. So when they're asking to say, show me what you're doing, we're actually giving them the proof to show them the steps that they're taking to make sure that they have a strong cybersecurity posture. And we have customers across the spectrum too. So, and that really covers technical capability, industry, and their business model. So healthcare, finance, education. We have yoga studios that have our platform. So they trust us to keep their investment and their reputation safe. And it makes it possible for them to help win new business. And so here's a couple examples of the companies that we work with. But like I said, this is all across the spectrum from technical level. So again, we've had CEOs have implemented this platform within a few days. They work with MSPs, other customers, so they'll hand this off to their outsourced IT department or their internal IT department. And or certain industries as well. And as you get into certain regulated industries, you're going to be asked these questions more and more. So we made it really simple, and we tried not to make it too involved. But what we've built here, and this is something as a member of the chambers, we've worked with them to offer this at a negotiated and discounted rate for members, but it's a simple flat price. So our platform is $14 per user per month. There's no contracts, so you can cancel at any time. But we've negotiated that down to give a discount with the chambers. There's live professional help at all times. There's a chat badge at the bottom. I don't know if you saw that when I was showing the demo. I could jump back into this real quick, but you can see a chat badge down here. What we've highly invested in are people from the support standpoint. So this is a badge to start to ask some questions, but you're going to talk to our support team, and they'll walk you through if you're having any sort of issues. There are people behind the scenes here that can help manage that. But like I said, we've made this very simple. We give trials too. So if this is something that you're trying to figure out, is this something we need? We do feel that every company needs a cybersecurity posture. It's just a matter of getting into the plan to kind of play around with some of the tools to make sure it works and that it's set up for your structure. But like I said, it's a very simple, singular pricing model, and we've negotiated that to down for the chamber members as well. And so I know I kind of rambled through that very quickly, but one of the benefits of our platform is that it is pretty simple to set up. Like I said, there's a dozen tools there, but within a week, you could have a pretty strong cybersecurity posture by getting some of those details set up. And then, like I said, if you're applying for cybersecurity insurance, if you have to go to vendors, if you're selling into enterprise, they're going to start asking some of these questions and want to know that you have this posture in place. But cybersecurity is an ongoing thing. It's not just to set it and forget it, which is part of what our platform sets up. But that's why we have some of those tools like Email Armor. You're going to get emails all day, every day. Some of them are going to be, most of them are going to be legit, hopefully, but you're going to get ones that you're not 100% sure. That's why our platform's there. It's working in the background to keep you safe, but it's there for resources like that when you need it. When you're adding new policies in and you need to send that out to your team and you don't want to email them and constantly ask, hey, can you sign this document? Our platform does that in the background. So I'll stop here and ask, are there any questions about some of the tools that come, the tool set that comes in our platform, or how it is to set to get this started and set up?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, Rick Smith.
Sure.
First of all, it's $14 per user, minimum number of users?
10 seats is a minimum number of users.
Okay. If I have clients that have several outlets, would each, they've all got different computers, but one person, so they'd have to have 10 people in one, or would the company be able to have 10?
Can you explain the structure of how when you say different companies?
Okay, well, one company owns, say, 10 campgrounds, which I have clients that have that. So would that count as 10 users, or would you have to have 10 users in each campground? The campgrounds are at different locations, obviously, and different computers.
I'm not 100% sure if, and I can follow up with you to kind of clarify that. But typically, if they are organizations that have separate staffing teams, more than likely it would have to be a separate organization. But I can follow up with you, and we can kind of talk through that example and kind of figure out what that looks like.
I need to get your contact info too, so we can talk sometime. This is actually something I've been looking for, but with the minimum of 10, it might be a little difficult for some of my clients. Not all of them, some of them. Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask is I have a client right now that has a problem. They have a reservation website. They do reservations for other companies, for other businesses. There's a link on the customer's website that goes to their server to do the reservations and take the credit cards, etc. We recently had been informed by Visa MasterCard that there was a breach. with a number of cards. I went on to the customer's website, not my client's website, the customer's website, and I got a notice that it was a malicious website. When I clicked onto a direct link to my client's website that does the processing, nothing. Is that something you could help with?
Without knowing the exact specifics of it, yes. And I think where you're getting at, and I apologize for the dog. I think where you're getting at with that is, so situations like that, while your client may not be taking payments directly, if there's a lawsuit, if there's a breach and there's a lawsuit, they're going to be added into that. And so while they may feel that they're protected because they're not the entity that's taking the credit card number, there's still liability there, and there's still resources that they can put in place to show that they've taken all the precautions to protect that data. And there is a responsibility there too. So it would be our recommendation that, even though, like I said, that they feel that they're exempt from that, they really aren't. And there's things that they can do. And our platform helps to mitigate some of those things. Like I said,
I'll have to put them in touch with you. Last question is, would they be PCI compliant after they go through this?
Well, it depends on to make sure that they put all of the steps in place. And so we can kind of talk through.
The question should be, can they be PCI compliant through your company?
I'd want to look at, before I say yes to that, I want to look at what requirements they'd have and what industry they have. It would depend on all the steps that they would take. So there are other projects that we have in addition to this platform that help to get to certain compliance levels. They might need access to that. So
okay.
But sorry, go ahead, Rick.
No, I said okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about some of those examples. The thing with cybersecurity is it's not black and white. Sometimes there are examples like that, kind of what you were talking about, where one entity is selling through another, and the problem is, like I said, if there was a breach, they're going to be added into that if there's a lawsuit. And so we can look at that. We'd be happy to talk with them. We have other programs as part of this too. Things like if a company is looking to get SOC 2 compliant, we can help them make the steps to get there quicker, because it is time consuming and expensive to do that. But the nice part about our platform is it puts a lot of the core pieces in place to help get them closer to that. And so, and I guess just going back to your first question, a lot of times we get questions about, well, I have contractors, or maybe they're part-time employees. Do we need a seat for them? And our recommendation is always, if anyone has access to your system or your data, we recommend a seat for that. And at this price point, it's a discounted rate. So it's $12 a month, as the chambers have helped to get you guys resources like this. So if you think about it, even if they don't have 10 employees, $120 a month to feel confident that they've got that they have all these tools in place to keep them safe. That's a question they have to ask themselves if that's an investment. But yeah, we do have a minimum. It's 10 seats per company, but we always highly recommend anyone that has access, and those can be shut on and off. So if someone is, a consultant and they're only working for a quarter, that seat can be moved very quickly and reassigned to somebody else.
So a better way of putting it would be $120 a month for up to 10 people.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah. What's your email address? I'll send you my contact info.
Sure. It's criley@havocshield.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions about the platform?
Charlie, I wanted to ask the question that kind of came up with the first company that we talked to, which was the working with some of the inherent protections that come through the Microsoft suite and come through the Google suite, and how does Havoc Shield interact with those things?
Yeah, I think I kind of went through it sort of quickly, but the guidance assistant, that Chrome extension is kind of there to talk through that. And so depending on what system you use, that's what that the initial questions we start asking, like what do you use? Is it, like I said, G Suite? Is it your Mac PC? What other tools are you using? Our platform builds the program specifically to the resources that you are using. So I kind of got into a little bit, but like Gmail, for example, doesn't come, two-factor authentication is turned off. And so things like that are some of the steps that we walk you through. It takes about 5 minutes for a person to do that. But those are, for us, table stakes in terms of some of the steps you need to take to have a confident cybersecurity posture. So our platform does walk you through based on the resources that you use and that you need, and we're growing with that too. We're always adding new software. We ask about if you're using certain project management tools, and we'll align the project to that. So the majority of the customers we work with do use Microsoft or Google Suite. So we've mapped to them already. But yeah, if there's specific other examples that people have. But there are a lot of vulnerabilities that come specifically, I guess, out of the box from some of those platforms. So we walk you through that in a very step-by-step manner with that guidance assistant.
It seems like most of those platforms, they offer some level of coverage, but once you really dig into it, it's not really all that much.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't think businesses realize just how vulnerable they are. If they're taking, especially if they're taking transactions on the internet through a website. My understanding is if you have a breach, the cost from MasterCard and Visa for the investigation is around $100,000, and then on top of that, whatever's lost on the cards. That's a lot of money. And what most people don't realize, now our customers don't sign them, but most people that have signed up for credit card processing have signed a personal guarantee. So if you have a big breach and it costs a lot of money and they take your business, they can take your house too. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. You're right. It is kind of scary. And I think there are a lot of misperceptions that it's complex. It's very technical. It's a technical topic. Small businesses under, like we said, 250 employees they may have an IT team. They may not have cybersecurity experts. And it's such an evolving industry and topic to really get your head around. That's why, you partner with a group like us or others that do it. To kind of stay on top of those things. And so like I pulled up a couple stats here, and I think this number might be low. We might have gone on the low side of this, but small businesses, if you have a breach, I've seen stats that show up to 60% of small businesses are going to be out of business in 6 months, because it's really expensive when it comes to having to find an organization to figure out where the breach was and stop it. Then there's you're probably going to get sued. And then you have to notify customers in every state, and every state has different regulations. So there's a big cost when you have to send mailings out and pay for things like credit monitoring. A lot of small companies can't afford that. And so that's why there's a lot of misperception around the idea that, well, we're small, no one cares about our information. That's not how hackers work. And that's not how attacks work. You open the wrong email, and they're hitting up hundreds of thousands of companies at a time. They don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. If they can find the best path to information that's useful to them, you could be a salon, you could be Target, you could be any size company. That's when they get in and figure out what's useful to them. So small businesses really do feel like I know a lot we talk to, they don't feel like they're attacked on purpose, but they're more vulnerable than the large companies that have full cybersecurity teams on staff working on this day by day. Our platform is kind of like the behind the scenes team that's working for you day by day for the companies that can't afford to hire a full team internally. Well, if there are no other questions, I appreciate the time, and we appreciate the relationship with the chambers. Like I said, they've negotiated on your behalfs to offer a discount off of our products and these solutions. So we welcome you to take a look. Like we said, there's a free trial that anyone wants to sign up for, and kind of test out how simple it is to get into the program and get it set up. We're happy to work with you, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have. We'll follow up with my contact information, and if there's anything that comes up after the fact that you think of that you maybe didn't want to ask now, I'd be happy to walk through with you and show you a more detailed demo as well as it pertains to your organization.
Thank you.
Charlie, we appreciate your time today. And Dolores, I'll make sure, you can get the information you need for your folks up in Canada. And for the chamber folks on our side, we'll make sure that Charlie's email is available to you. So if you want to address him directly, you're more than welcome. It really is a great program, and we really appreciate Havoc Shield putting this together for the two chambers. If there are no further questions, I'd like to tell everybody have a wonderful afternoon. We're watching the rain come down here in Niagara, and it's supposed to be turning to snow in a couple hours, so that'll be fun. But thank you all for being on the call today. And if you have any questions, reach out to Dolores, myself, or Charlie directly. Thank you, everybody.